everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode, I will be guiding you through a fascinating topic that is about Kundalini. We are perfectly in team because, as you follow from my previous video, on Saturday we're gonna have a really powerful conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. And this might facilitate a lot of awakening process, especially Kundalini awakening in a lot of people. So as some of you already requested me via email, I want to dedicate a short video today to explain the connection between astrology and Kundalini and how I can support you better during this fantastic astrological event that we are having. So saying that, what it is Kundalini? So in Hinduism, they say that Kundalini is a sort of dormant energy. It's a sort of snake at the base of our spine that usually is asleep, and when is awakened, this energy, this snake, is moving from the back of our spine till up, by passing by all our chakras. And usually, when people experience a Kundalini awakening, they say that it's really, at least I can share also my experience when I experienced it 5 years ago. It's like you feel completely oneness. It's like a oneness sensation with the universe. It's like being in a pure state of bliss, and it's like, in my opinion, it's like a pure freedom, and like all the past is fading away. So if majority of people are watching, are seeing the chakras like a ball of color light, I would rephrase it. I would see actually all the chakras in a different way. In my personal view, after this experience, I would see and I would share that the root chakra for me is like your foundation. The sacral chakra is like your basement. The solar plexus is like your first floor, and so on, so on. And each floor, as I see it now, contains different rooms. And each room contains emotions, childhood traumas, and memories, and so on, so on. All the deepest feelings and emotion that you might have. And according to a lot of yogis, Kundalini, there are like 112 ways to awaken your Kundalini. But let's say, in my opinion, like I also wrote in my notes, is like I would define it like a neurobiological transformation. It can be, according to my experience and to all the people that I interview, it can be a really wonderful enlightenment process, or it can be the most dangerous experience of your life. I explain you why. So if the Kundalini is awakening in a slow process, slowly, a lot of changes are happening in your personal life, in your relationship, in your business, slowly. And so you can handle all these changes. If you have like a really sudden awakening of the Kundalini, let's say that you will feel like this is really dangerous because you cannot integrate so fast all the changes that are happening in your life. And so it's like all your life is falling apart, relationships, work, everything. And that can be really dangerous, especially because it might damage, according to a lot of research, it might damage your nervous system as well. Of course, there are a lot of exercises to rebalance your emotion and your nervous system, but still it's quite dangerous. This is why I always say that, let's say it's a really neurobiological transformation to our personal alignment, to our personal power and creation, but it's a long process that is taking the fourth part of our life. And there is a really famous text, the so-called the Law of Ra. It's a collection of channel messages from an entity called Ra that is saying exactly that. It's a long process, and I want to share exactly what he's saying to give you a better understanding why it's so important to go slow during this process and not force it with there are a lot of people that are forcing the activation of Kundalini with a specific retreat, with taking specific drugs, or pushing with a lot of yoga practices that are really hard yoga practices. But really be careful, because this can be really dangerous, especially for your nervous system. Let me share here what Ra is saying. What is really fascinating that I like is that is saying each experience will need to be observed, experience and balance. So each experience of our life will need to be observed, experienced, balanced, accepted, and seated within the individual. Then, if you move in the paragraph below, it's saying each experience will be sequentially understood by the growing and seeking mind, body, and spirit complex in terms of survival, then in terms of personal identity, then in terms of social relations, then in terms of universal love, then in terms of how the experience may beget free communication, then in terms of how the experience may be linked to the universal energies, and finally in terms of sacramental nature of each experience. Meanwhile, the creator lies within us. So what does it mean? That we are this energy, this dormant energy is doesn't come from external sources. So you don't need to rush it and push it with taking external drugs, for example, or going to a retreat where there is a facilitator that he or she will activate your Kundalini energy, because we are creators, and this dormant energy is within us, and we just need to work a lot on ourselves, work a lot of our childhood traumas, work a lot of our emotions, and integrate all these aspects of ourselves in order to slowly upgrade and release this energy. Saying that, what's the connection with astrology? What is fascinating is that in Vedic astrology, the horoscope is called Kundali. And the Vedic astrologers, they say that everyone are born with a Kundali, but unfortunately 90% of people they don't awaken with the dormant energy, and eventually they die without awakening it. So it's quite sad, but why? Because the majority of people are still living and do what they have been told by families, by government, by work, and they don't pay enough attention to their inner calling, for example. So according to my research, when a Kundalini awakening is rising naturally, according to my astrological research, the Kundalini activation is rising exactly during the midlife crisis. Why is that? And the major actor here is the planet Uranus. Why? Because the planet Uranus is ruling electricity, and so electricity is really connected to the Kundalini awakening. I give you an example from my personal experience. When I start to feel the Kundalini awakening, I start really to feel all over my body a tingling sensation, starting from my feet and coming up. It was like electricity, and I was feeling also a lot of sexual energy, because I was feeling really the energy that was moving, was passing through all my chakras. And so according to all the studies that have been conducted with astrology, the maximum peak that you can experience with Kundalini awakening is when you have an Uranus opposition to your natal chart. What does it mean? That when more or less is happening. Astrologically speaking, we astrologers like me are always saying that is happening during midlife crisis. So between 38 and to 44 years old. But why is that? So the planet Uranus is make one orbit around the sun every 84 years old. 84 years. And but he has a slightly, let's say, due to his slightly elliptical orbit, let's say that it form an opposition with our natal chart, and this opposition is about this period of life between 38 years old and 44 years old. That is said really in simple terms possible. So this is why so many people are experiencing the midlife crisis around this age. And according also to my research, it's not really convenient and it's not recommended also for women to be pregnant during this period, during the Kundalini activation, because it might be like not an easy pregnancy, let's say. So as I said before, it's like a long process to activate your Kundalini. And astrologically speaking, you can work with your lunar nodes, so your south node that represent all your past traumas, represent your comfort zone, represent who you have been in past lives. And you can work with your North Star. So, how the North Star is your inner compass that will guide you to move beyond your current pattern. And you can check on your birth chart when you will have more or less this Uranus opposition according to your natal chart. Of course, I'm here to support everyone because, as I said in my previous video, on Saturday we will have really a massive awakening moment for a lot of people in our planet. And as I already experienced the Kundalini awakening, and as I already did a lot of studies around that and astrology, I'm here to support you, whoever needs my support during this crisis. So in regards to that, I develop a specific program of just 3/4 sessions for really people that experience private midlife crisis, and at the same time they have a doubt that they are experiencing as well a Kundalini awakening. So if you want more information, you can just write me in the mail here below. I trust this short video was useful, and I gave you some hints on how to navigate this wonderful astrological period. And thank you very much for the attention. Please do share and subscribe with all your friends, and please also share your comment, because I would like to see and understand if you experience already this Kundalini awakening and how it was for you. Thank you very much for attention, and see you next episode. Ciao.